You have to understand this too. Just because your trainer is a likable person or entertaining to be around, that does not mean they're good at their job. Like if you're a certified personal trainer and cannot solve a client's low back pain or weakness very quickly, you suck. Chest up, shoulders back. Welcome to Revival Fitness, everybody, your home for gains and brains. And since it is the new year, I'm going to remake an old video I did. I'm not sure how many of you actually saw this one, but it's going to be 5 red flags or 5 signs that your personal trainer sucks. And really just why so many personal trainers suck at their jobs in general. And for context here, guys, I worked at a big chain commercial gym for nearly 3 years, both as a personal trainer and as a manager of the personal training department. So I'm pretty darn familiar with the entire mainstream personal training niche and industry. And if you are as well, tell us your experiences in the comments below. But anybody who's worked in this space, mainstream personal training, can probably tell you there seems to be a broad sentiment among most people that the entire field is pretty suspect. We're at the point now where personal training certifications are very similar to college degrees. They just get handed out like candy. If you pay your money and can memorize some stuff for a 2-hour period, you're gonna get your certification, you're gonna pass, and you're gonna become a certified personal trainer, as if that actually means anything. I can give you 2 quick personal examples from my old gym. There was one girl who trained there who would always give her clients incline dumbbell bench press, where they would sit on the incline bench and press the dumbbells out in front of them. So they were essentially doing a modified shoulder exercise, I guess you could call it that. That was her incline bench press. I saw her give that to dozens of clients over the time span that I worked there. And another great example is a guy at the same gym who would give people jumping squats while holding a medicine ball. They would jump back and forth from like end to end in the training area, and a lot of the time the people couldn't even land properly. They were obviously falling forward, putting a lot of stress on the knees, ankles twisting, and he would just sit there and cheer them on. You got it, you got it. And there's many more examples we're going to talk about. But just know, guys, if you are going into a big commercial gym, there are some good trainers at commercial gyms, but it's finding a diamond in the rough. Be very cautious, be careful, and don't just hand them money without really considering it. And ideally, you should have a waiting period to see if you can get a refund after 30 days or so, because personal training, as you might know, is very expensive. The trainers oftentimes barely get any cut of that money. And because of that, they don't care. And more importantly, the gym, once they got your card, they don't care. So without further ado, let's hop into the first red flag here. Mystery box. You remember when you used to play Mario Kart and you would get one of those power-ups, the mystery box would be like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? That's what a lot of personal trainers do with their clients in the gym. Every day it's just a toss-up. There is essentially no consistency in their exercise selection or their overall program. Now, don't get me wrong, varying up your training routine is not a bad thing, but when it's done on a weekly basis, and especially for beginners, it's really not that great. There's a common misconception in mainstream fitness culture that beginners need to do everything just because they're new. They need to master every single thing in the gym. And because of this, it's common for trainers to put their clients on a bunch of isolation exercises whenever they start. So they'll have them doing the leg extension and then bicep curls and the pec deck, all of these smaller, lighter movements to specifically target one single muscle at a time. And this is stupid for 2 reasons. First, isolation exercises are a waste of time comparatively to compound exercises like overhead presses, rows, squats, and deadlifts. And personal trainers get paid by the hour or the half hour. So they're effectively wasting your money and your time by giving you isolation movements. And second, a new client's entire body is weak. So there's no need to focus on one single muscle at a time because every single muscle is weak. I remember studying for my last personal training test to get recertified, which is a total crock of crap. They just keep charging you to recertify. I remember in the textbook, the authors recommended that new clients, if they show any sign of muscle imbalance or lack of stability, which of course all beginners are going to do, they recommended putting them on machines and using cables and isolation exercises to fix this problem. That's not going to do anything. If you want a hard look into why most personal trainers today are clueless, pirate a copy of one of these certificate training exam books and feast your eyes on the carnage. It's really bad. Some of these books, guys, literally have like bodybuilding bro science lore from the 70s and 80s stated as fact in their books. They do that, then they put up some diagrams of the bone structure and anatomy, and then they charge you $400 for it. Isn't that great? And in this same vein, a lot of the trainers who lack legitimate understanding of exercise selection and programming, these are the same ones who tend to throw out these trendy, cool, positive fitness phrases. If your trainer is always saying things like feel the burn, shock the muscle, keep the body guessing, run away. Listen, guys, if you want to only break a sweat and get your heart rate going, you can simply go to a group class in the gym that costs nothing. If your trainer is doing the same thing as the group class, right? Just, feel the burn and get the blood going and let's sweat it out. That's what group classes are for. They're general and for anybody to just kind of throw themselves into. Personal training is supposed to be about personal training, right? Actually learning exercises, programming, breathing patterns, things like that. Not simply just moving your body around while being told what to do. And here's another thing a lot of clients don't realize, but it's totally true. And it's not surprising given how little most trainers are paid, especially in big box gyms, namely the non-equinox variety. But most trainers, guys, don't even have a workout written or ready for their clients when they show up. It is shocking how many personal trainers literally just wing the workout as soon as their client enters the door. And if you want a live action comedy right in front of your face, just ask your general commercial gym trainer, say, hey, what's the long-term plan here? What's my long-term progression scheme? They will shit their pants. If you ask your trainer a question like that about a long-term plan and they stutter or look confused, get your money back ASAP. Now, red flag number 2 here of the modern terrible trainer, formless. And by formless, I mean the trainer who doesn't even perform the baseline function of their job, which is correcting the form of the client. And really, this one is just insulting. I don't know if these type of trainers are scared to touch people, if they're scared to like assert themselves, or if they're just simply lazy, but they will watch people do exercises blatantly incorrectly over and over. Again, I've seen this happen in front of my own eyes so many times. I oftentimes would tell my own clients, guys, I would point to the other trainer and their client across the gym and say, look how bad that is. Like, me and my own clients would laugh at other trainers for how badly they're allegedly training their own clients. Now, to be fair here, form is not exactly one size fits all. Depending on individual leverages and bone structure, previous injury history, goals for a certain exercise, yes, form can be modified one way or the other a little bit, depending on those factors. But broadly speaking, for the primary movement patterns and exercises, there is a correct way to perform them. You have to understand this too. Just because your trainer is a likable person or entertaining to be around, that does not mean they're good at their job. Here are some common examples of trainers who fail at their own job description. The overeager spotter who puts his hands on the weight from the very first rep. This diminishes your own strength gains, lowers your own kinesthetic awareness, and prevents you from adequately learning how to handle yourself under the weight. The exaggerated time under tension or constant tension guy, right? Even if your form's bad, he'll just say, hey, slow it down, really feel, right? Feel the burn, feel the contraction. There's a trainer at the gym I currently go to. I watch him give one of his clients 7-second negatives. And I'm gonna show you because it's this bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up. That's 1 rep. Guys, if you think you're gonna gain any legitimate strength lifting that slowly, you're mistaken. And ultimately, there's not even any hypertrophy or muscle size or definition benefit to doing that. That is classic bodybuilding bro science. And remember, the trainer is getting paid by the hour. So if they make every exercise you do take twice as long, they do half the work. Now, a similar type of trainer is the professional counter. The one who just does this. 1, 2, 3. No form correction, no cueing, nothing like that. They just sit there and count for you. There are also the social butterfly types, whether it's on their phone or talking to other people at the gym. They don't even pay attention to you. They're looking at their phone, browsing on Instagram, or they're trying to get laid, talking to the girls or the guys at the gym, right? Oh, hey, what's going on? Always talking to people. Guys, your trainer's focus, of course, there's going to be some degree of variance here, but their focus should be predominantly on you for the entire set. Even whenever you're not in the set, they should be writing things down, taking notes. If they're just constantly on the phone and they're not like typing, even so, they could just be texting people, right? If your trainer's on the phone repeatedly and it's not just notes they can tangibly show you, they're probably making a quick buck. And maybe the worst trainer type of all here is the mindless motivator. Like I mentioned at the beginning, your client's going to be doing lunges, right? Knees banging off the floor, ankles twisting, weights shimmying side to side. All they can say is, yeah, you got it. Give me all you got. Almost done. One more. Just shouting positive things at you. No actual education happening at all. Now, the third red flag of a personal trainer, the cardio king or queen. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do cardio, even though I don't, but time spent on cardio is ultimately a waste of money as the client. And most personal training clients do want to lose weight, so cardio makes sense, but cardio is not something that needs to really formally be taught or monitored. Here's how to do cardio. You ready? Just move your legs. Unless you're a professional athlete, all of this special cardio with time intervals and heartbeat tracking and all of this stuff, that is not really necessary. The main function of cardio in the gym context, besides cardiovascular benefits, is to give you an easy way to expend more energy and burn more calories. So if you want to burn more calories, just do more cardio. Learning weightlifting and strength training can take time, especially if somebody's naturally not a very fast learner, to get the kinesthetic awareness down, the form, different exercise types, balancing under the weight, all of that stuff. But cardio, even homeless people can figure out how to run around the block for free. And once again, I keep going back to this point, personal trainers get paid by the hour. So if your trainer is using your own session time, I'm not telling you to go do cardio before or after. If they're using time in the set blocked off session, they are just taking your money. So if your trainer right now is wasting your time and money on the treadmill or elliptical during the training session, I think your best bet is to wipe out and spill off of that equipment and try to get a fat lawsuit from the gym. Trainer red flag number 4, one trick pony. Now, earlier we discussed that changing things too much is not good, but sticking to one mindset or only having one sort of way of doing things as a personal trainer can equally be as bad. Whether it's client injuries, pains, lack of access to the equipment they want, many trainers are unable to properly adjust on the fly for their clients. So for an example of this, whenever I was running the PT department at my old gym, I was interviewing a guy one day who was looking for work there. And he had all the good intangibles, right? Clean cut, very nice to talk to, good smile, nice resume, all of that good stuff that looks polished in person and on paper. But upon talking to him, we did a little introductory style workout. He had me do push-ups. And I asked him if I was to hypothetically get wrist pain doing the push-ups, which is a common gym style pain or injury, especially among older people and people who use a computer mouse all day, how would you modify this exercise to make that wrist pain go away or lessen? And his response, hand to God, was this. You're paying these people. He completely froze up. He had nothing. Something as simple as wrist pain during push-ups, and he had no counter or no plan to navigate that. And that's simply wrist pain. There are clients who have herniated discs, repaired ACLs, major injuries. All of these things the general public faces, even something as basic as posture so bad, they can't even do a hip hinge properly. And some of these trainers have no way out of it. They'll just end up avoiding exercises altogether, or they'll just modify the range of motion, right? They'll just cut the range of motion so short to alleviate the potential tightness or pain. That's their only solution. They avoid the root cause of the problem. Good trainers know how to modify an exercise to alleviate potential pain, or they have a backup exercise in the chamber in case something cannot be done fully at this point. I remember I trained an older guy once. He was in his 70s, I think. And whenever we meet, he gets this piece of paper, draws a whole diagram of his body, and he goes over this laundry list of problems he had. Spinal fusion, he was in a major accident, can't move his limbs past a certain level a lot of the time, can't fully bend down, all of these major issues, right? And we talked about it, I tested him out on some things, and we finally found a program that was applicable to him. But we were still doing, right, free weights, calisthenics, compound exercises. I did not totally avoid the problem. We worked on his posture, his balance, his grip strength, all of this stuff that so many people have issues with, especially if they're new to the gym or coming back after a long period away. What would the schmucky trainer do? Easy, just plop them down on the machine. Oh, there you go, just sit there and do this thing while I look at my phone. You can't fix something by avoiding it, but you can make money as a trainer by lying to your clients and telling them that everything is unsafe and we gotta just do these little exercises, the machines, all of the easy stuff. If that's what your trainer is telling you, if you're having back pain, shoulder pain, wrist pain, and they just avoid that area altogether, I can promise you they're not qualified for their job. And now wrapping up, the fifth and final red flag of a personal trainer, machine head. And I have an old coworker who fit this to a T. Every time I would see the guy, morning, afternoon, night, man, woman, fat, skinny, whatever the client and the circumstance was, every single time on the machine. He would always be at the lat pull down, right? Sitting there, the client's just mindlessly doing the lat pull down. He's doing this, you know this thing trainers do on the machine? They just kind of post up on it and they're like, yeah, good. That's all he did. The machine head trainer is very similar to the cardio king or queen trainer, and oftentimes they will overlap. In either case, the trainer is putting their client on a piece of equipment that really negates a lot of their value. A lot of these machines, guys, have instructions on the darn machine. And I have nothing against machines, by the way. I use them myself in my own training. But if they comprise the bulk of your training, especially, again, as a beginner who has a weak low back, tight hamstrings, tight upper back, all of these areas that really need worked through a long range of motion in free space, machines are the last thing you need to be doing. Think about the average person, guys. What do they do all day? They just sit in the car, at the office, in the car again on the way home, at the dinner table, on the couch, on the bed. They're sitting all the time. The last thing they need to be doing is sitting on machines at the gym. And the justification for machines commonly follows some sort of line like this. Well, the machines are better at isolating the muscles and they hit certain muscle fibers that free weights can't normally hit. And ultimately, for the average client, especially for beginners, this doesn't matter. Once again, like we said, their entire body is weak, so isolating single muscles at one time serves no real benefit. One of the biggest uses for machines too is to alleviate full body stress that comes with heavy barbell exercises. So if you're squatting and deadlifting heavy on a weekly basis, you can throw in some machine stuff for the back and the legs to take stress off of those areas. But once again, most PT clients in commercial gyms, I'd say 99% of them, they're nowhere near strong enough to warrant that reduction of stress. They're squatting 135 pounds. They're bent over rowing 85 pounds. They're deadlifting, if their gym even lets them deadlift, right? 185 pounds. Guys, if your low back is fried after 185 pound deadlifts, you have way bigger problems than the deadlifts. And I say this as a trainer myself who's gotten tons of people very mobile, very fast, extended their range of motion rapidly. If you cannot get your client mobile enough, get their posture correct in a month or two to start hitting full range of motion on major exercises, you should probably just work at McDonald's. Machines were originally designed for people with injuries. So unless you have a serious injury or you're 90 years old, you shouldn't be spending all day on the machines. If your trainer is making you do that, it's time to tell them. So this has been it, guys. Thank you for watching. Tell me what you want to see next down below. Thank you, as always, to the Patreon supporters. Like, subscribe, and I will catch you next time.